presentation entitled Innovate, Expand, and Thrive, while Telcos Need Cloud is Andrea Canessa, Senior Director, Communications Industry Strategy, Oracle. Now, Andrea has over 25 years of experience in driving SW solutions for the communications industry from concept to market, with leadership roles spanning across product strategy, product management, as well as product marketing. Now, Andrea is passionate about leveraging technology to transform business, create engaging customer experiences, and change our daily lives. And that is a passion I'm sure he's going to share with us today as we welcome Andrea to CANTO's AGM.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very nice presentation. Let me start immediately. Let me start immediately my presentation. Let me share the entire screen and can you see my screen? Hello? I'm assuming you guys can see my screen.
Yes, certainly.
Okay, fantastic. So let's start with a few numbers. The number that you see here are 5G numbers. I understand that the Caribbeans may not be at the forefront of 5G adoption like South Korea or China and rollout, but the reality is coming all over and it need to be in our mind. The number that you see are from GSMA, from their latest mobile economy reports, the latest two. According to GSMA, as of March 2021, there were already 157 5G commercial networks, around 62 different markets. And so it's very fast. As you can see, it's coming all over. And it's coming all over and very fast because the investment from mobile network operator in 5G network is huge. 80% of network investment goes on 5G. And that means 720 billion with a B dollars between 2021 and 2025. Now, what is mind-blowing even more is what GSMA estimate to be the size of the 5G economy. That is 2.2 trillion with a T between 2024 and 2034. So the 2.2 trillion question is, how can operator make money out of this, out of the 5G economy that includes what is called sometimes fourth industrial revolutions, what is called sometimes industry 3.0, and where you will see 5G, AI, and IoT generate new enterprise services. Definitely, the 2.2 trillion, the basic connectivity will not help operator to get there. But what can help is a differentiated connectivity, what GSMA call differentiated connectivity. That way, basically, they can expand their core product. What does it mean? It means adding slicing, adding quality of services, adding potentially 5G private networks. But there is also the ability to extend beyond to extend into the non-core product and to go beyond connectivity. So that provide not only the connectivity that is needed for the Industry 3.0 application, but also the platform and the software. And actually, even more money is with the managed solution to provide the application themselves. Now, both managed solution and the beyond connectivity, they are perfect matches for cloud. Why? Because the reality is you need to have a try first approach. You need to have a startup approach. We don't know what the killer application will be. We didn't know where they come and what will be the new Uber solution. And that means that you need to try fast. You need to fail fast if it doesn't work. But if it does work, you need to scale fast. So you need the agility of cloud. So during the previous panel, I found it very interesting. A lot of the key objective and the key themes that you guys mentioned are exactly the same themes that I hear from all communication service providers around the world. You need to cut cost, you need to gain agility, you need to have embraced the digital transformation, you need to become a data-driven or insight-driven enterprises, and you need to generate new revenues beyond the connectivity, because we all know that connectivity is now a commodity, because it's been used by the WhatsApp, by the over-the-top provider, by the Skype, and so on. So what can you do, and how cloud can help you? The reality is cloud actually can help you in a lot of different things. Specifically, Oracle Cloud for Telcos can help operator to cut cost and to gain agility and to fuel innovation by helping to migrate all their IT and OSS and BSS to the cloud. And not only the IT, but also the network function. Our cloud native 5G core is actually deployed by several operators around the world on their cloud platforms. And obviously, network function and IT need to be executed close to where they are needed. So we need to have a flexible and distributed cloud architecture that goes all the way from public cloud to the edge. Now, the transforming in a data-centric company is also very critical, and the volumes of data that will generate with the new Industry 3.0 application and with the new 5G booming is huge. In order to leverage and to scale, to manage this volume of data, cloud is key, and is also key new data science and new machine learning approaches. Data lakehouse approaches, all that becomes critical. Now, the last one that definitely Oracle Telco Cloud can help is to generate new revenue streams, to evolve what GSMA in the previous slide was calling evolve beyond connectivity, to basically being able to monetize the platform and the software they need to provide it, and the communication service provider may not do it on their own. They may do with partnership with technology vendors such as us, such as Oracle. And we have a few examples of a few telecommunication service providers around the world. They are already doing that. Or launch the innovative services that will fuel the Industry 3.0 and the fourth industrial revolution. Oracle Cloud for Telcos, as you can expect, has all the components from a modern cloud platform. We obviously have the Kubernetes, the container registry, the autonomous database, the autonomous data warehouse, the advanced machine learning, the artificial intelligence, and so on. And that allow a communication service provider to run their telco IT, from the enterprise IT to the OSS and BSS, also their network function, and to develop those two new, for them or for enterprises, to develop the new enterprises services that are needed for the fourth industrial revolution. Like I mentioned earlier on, it's very important that the workloads are executed and that they are operated where they are needed. And that one is done with the distributed cloud architecture. Distributed cloud architecture then include public cloud, when it's very important scalability, containing cost, and having redundancy. But sometimes you have constraints that come from data residency and sovereignty. And therefore, private cloud is important, and we offer that with our dedicated region cloud customer. And sometimes you have to further reduce the latency. So you need to move to the near edge, or with our private cloud appliances, such as Exadata Cloud Customer, or even to the far edge with our Oracle Routing Edge infrastructure. So we offer basically, as you can see, a complete distributed cloud architecture. And let's see what different operators, and I'm not going to be able, because of time, to cover all the story. I will just highlight a few. You will be able to get the PDF of this presentation, and there are links of different stories if you want to further investigate. But here are different operators around the world, and this is about the agility and gaining and cutting costs of what they were able to achieve. Zoom is not a typical communication service provider. They are still providing communication services, obviously, and we all know it. And it was mentioned earlier on that it becomes pervasive in everybody's life, right? We all use it. Well, they have to scale very fast because of the pandemic. They move from 10 million meetings a day to 300 million meetings a day. And to do that, they actually moved their platform on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. They were able to move it in 21 days with help from Oracle Consulting Services. And obviously, this is a great scalability story. Another story that is more related to the data sovereignty and to executing workload where you need is the Entity West. The Entity West, they basically launched a regional revitalization cloud initiative. Their idea is to make data available to regional partners and to create new data-driven solutions. Now, data need to be localized because of data sovereignty, so need to be in their data center, in the entity data centers, in Entity West data centers in Japan. And to do so, they use Oracle Exadata Cloud Customer. And that way was able to reduce the processing time of 40%. They also ensure availability and satisfy their localization requirement. Another example here is Vodafone Business. Vodafone Business is the part of Vodafone that looks after IoT. They have 123 million IoT devices that they run in more than 180 countries, and they cover 570 networks. So IoT business is complex. It's not the typical connectivity business. It's much more complex. Typically, models are more sophisticated. The business model are typically B2B2X. And not only that, obviously, as you can see, the volumes are large, 123 million. And guess what? They are actually scaling fast because that 123 million devices are growing at 22% increase year over year. So to do that, they need to have something that is very flexible to support the new different type of business model, but also something that can scale. And what they did, basically, they adopted Oracle Cloud Scale charging and billing, running on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. By the way, there is a new report, a benchmark report that we just released of Oracle performances on Oracle Cloud Scale, charging and billing on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, scaling up to 100 million subscribers with fantastic number, and you can download from our booth, from our virtual booth. Another story that I would like to share with you, obviously, we talk about cloud and what cloud can do in order to give agility and to cut costs. But the reality is that you will not have only one cloud operator. Most operators, one cloud vendor. Most operators will need more than one cloud vendor. That's the case, for example, with TIM Brazil. They want to move 100% of their workloads to cloud, and 50% will run on Oracle, 50% will run on Azure. We have a cloud interconnect between us and Azure that allows to move data extremely fast, and TIM Brazil is moving their custom building system on their custom building systems on Oracle, and so obviously the Oracle database, custom Oracle database application, 4,000 VMware, multiple instances of Siebel. They will all move to Oracle. Another product will move to Azure. But what is important is that you actually are able to move data across the two. Earlier on, I mentioned that the agility, the cutting cost, but it's also important to become data-centric and the insight-centric. These are stories that are about the data-centric and the insight-centric. 1180 is not a telecommunication service provider. It's the second largest phone assistance company in Germany. Its client are communication service provider. The client of his client called because there are problems, and they talk with the CSR from 1180. This CSR need to have access in real time to network faults, to charges, to services, to all the access that comes from the communication service provider. To do that, they use Oracle Autonomous Data Warehouse and Oracle Analytics Cloud. And Vodafone Fiji is another example where they use Oracle Autonomous Data Warehouse and Oracle Analytics Cloud. They basically needed to have much faster performance, generate insight in minutes in order to predict churn. And they also needed to make data available to local businesses so that they can generate and drive new innovative solutions. Obviously, while Vodafone is a large brand, Vodafone Fiji is a small company within the Vodafone world. MTN, though, is one of the largest communication service network operator in the world. They cover 23 countries across Africa and the Middle East, and they also use Oracle Analytics Cloud in order to improve their efficiency of over 66%. Earlier on, I mentioned that there are ways to go beyond connectivity to generate new revenues, and that was mentioned also in the previous panel, how they can, communication service provider, generate new revenues. These are three examples. These are three partnerships: Telefonica España, Nuvo from Team Group in Italy, and Airtel in India. All these three operators, they basically started to host Oracle Cloud infrastructure in their data centers. The idea is for all of them is actually to help the local business in Spain, Italy, or India in order to generate a new Industry 3.0 application that will need 5G and IoT and run them on Oracle Cloud infrastructure. This is a win-win situation. We have access to the operator client. The operator client and the platform that he need is a partnership that generates money for both Oracle and the operator. Some of them, like Telefonica and Nuvo, they have a double dip because they also run some of their IT systems on the Oracle Cloud infrastructure that is now in their data centers, and they basically cut costs by doing that. So the last one that I am covering here is we talked at the beginning what GSMA was talking about managed solution. A managed solution obviously need the cloud infrastructure to be run. I mentioned again and again. You also will need developer services. Most importantly, when you create Industry 3.0 application, you will need to connect to industry application, existing industry application where that specific industry runs its business. Oracle is in a unique position here. We have a focus on 17 industry sectors. They come from over 30 acquisitions of segment leaders that we have done over the years. We have over 60 application suites. We cover pretty much every possible industry that is going to be affected by the fourth industrial revolution, from manufacturing to retail, from healthcare to state and local, to public sector, to automotive, to construction. So, as you have seen, Oracle Cloud for Telcos offers to CSP solution for today and a platform for tomorrow, for their business tomorrow. I rush through this presentation and I have to skip a lot of stories. They are all there. Please contact me if you would like to know more of what we can do or how we can collaborate or how we can work together. And contact me or any other Oracle colleagues. We can virtually meet in the Oracle Lounge during the CANTO event, or we can meet at a later time. And thank you so much for this opportunity.